way over here. We got
This
you way over here.
little chair today.
You got me over here next to the door, huh? Get excited, man. We got what you want.
Is it possible?
Very possible.
You're good, Mayor.
Am I?
You're good.
Oh, thank you very much. Call to order the Platteville Board of Trustees for July 15th.
And I'll call to order the planning commission for Platteville, July 18th. We're going to start with a moment of silence for those that are and have served, and those that have given their all for our safety.
Thank you. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Mary, can we have roll call for the planning commission, please?
Certainly. Chairman Rich Smith,
Here.
Steve Sandoval, Sandra Smith,
Here.
Steve Schaefer,
Here.
Michael Cowper,
Here.
Steve Nelson,
Here.
Troy Blum.
Here. Okay, may we have roll call for the Board of Trustees, please?
Mayor Steve Nelson,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hope Moran,
Here.
Larry Clark, Adrian Sandoval,
Here.
Kim Nelson, Michael Cowper, Troy Blum.
Here. Okay, next, approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Next, audience participation. Do we have anybody wishing to address the board tonight? Okay. We'll move on to the oath of office. Who do I deal with?
Chief Wood.
Chief Dwyer, please, front and center.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to introduce you guys to Officer Matt McChesney. Matt is a 16-year officer for Mesa County. He was an SRO for several of those years. He got hired on here just a couple of weeks ago. We're happy to have him. And I think his wife is here to do the honors this morning. Do you want to introduce everyone to your wife and your
Yes,
family?
this is my wife, Susan, my wife of 39 years, first and only wife. This is my youngest of 5 daughters, grown daughters, Rebecca, and this is my son-in-law, Scott. My number 4 daughter, Alicia, her husband is Scott, and 2 granddaughters. This is Gretchen, who's wanting to participate, and Mac, who, it's like a good idea, was carried out quickly as soon as he cried. And that's it.
All right. Thank you all very much.
This is the real official part. Please repeat after me. I'll let you read. I, Matt McChesney,
I, Matt McChesney,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States of America,
the Constitution and government of the United States of America,
the Constitution and government of the state of Colorado,
the Constitution and the government of the state of Colorado,
against all enemies, whether domestic or foreign,
against all enemies, whether domestic or foreign,
that I will bear true faith, allegiance, and loyalty to the same,
that I will bear true faith, allegiance, and loyalty to the same,
and that I will faithfully perform the duties
and I will faithfully perform the duties
of the office of police officer,
of the office of police officer,
of which I am about to enter.
of which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you.
Thank you.
so much. Let me get your signature after.
It doesn't have to come with that ball. Matt? Congratulations. Thank you very much. You bet. Congratulations. Thank you. Pleasure to be here and serve. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chief. Next, we have National Parks and Recreation Month. I'm going to read this into the record. Public parks and recreation systems are dedicated to enhancing the quality of life for residents and communities around the country through recreation, programming, leisure activities, and conservation efforts. Recreation and leisure activities provide opportunities for young people to live, grow, and develop into contributing members of society, create lifelines and continuous life experience for older members of the community, generate opportunities for people to come together and experience a sense of community, and pay dividends to communities by attracting businesses, jobs, and increasing housing value. Recreation services play a vital role in creating active and healthy communities. The recreation programs foster a variety of activities that contribute to a healthier United States, such as working with local school systems to develop science-based curricula to educate children on nutrition and activity, connecting children with nature and combating obesity in youth. The creation of places for physical activity combined with information outreach results in an increase in the frequency of physical activity. More than 75% of United States citizens use park and recreation facilities to maintain fitness and to remain socially interactive, which are critical to maintaining community cohesion and pride. Community recreation programs provide children with a safe refuge and a place to play, which helps to reduce at-risk behaviors such as drug use and gang involvement. Parks and recreation facilities reduce fuel costs and commute times by providing a place close to home to relax, exercise, and reduce stress. Now therefore be it resolved that the Platteville Board of Trustees formally recognizes July as National Parks and Recreation Month and recognizes the great societal value of parks and recreation facilities and their importance in local communities across the United States, and honors the vital contribution of employees and volunteer in park and recreational facilities. For my own part, Reggie and Gordon have been around far longer than I have, been involved in this town, and it's pretty amazing what you guys have done. The results that I have seen, the results that you constantly see, you are a credit, and you honor the town.
Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We couldn't do it without your support, so that's great.
Mr. Manager, do you have anything you want to add?
I'll refer Reggie to a report, anything you want to say?
I do, just that this is, the busiest or most successful year we've had as far as recruiting our T-ball and coach pitch kids, is we have over 55 kids playing this year, which is the biggest number we've had, so, and that's the little one, so everything's growing. Were you watching T-ball just now? Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's a figure. And we wanted to thank Gordon, I wanted to thank you guys for your support with the ball field. The improvements we made to the batting cages has helped us so much. so much easier to, run 2 or 3 teams at practice during the month, so that's really good. We're just continuing on recruiting for our biking time. Kim's been pretty involved with that with us. It's our after-school program, and we try to bring enrichment. We had some horses in the nature club come in this year, which is pretty cool. So a lot of stuff, what you said, and the kids have healthy snacks before biking time. So it's been very successful. We do it after school, and we have the kids there. We try to do things in the summer, and we just don't get the kids because they're not there. We're just getting ready for Harvest Days with the stuff we do there. We'd like to invite you guys on the 28th of this month, on a Friday. We do our annual leading roast and honor all the little kids playing baseball, t-ball, Coach Good softball. So you're all welcome to come to that at 6. And we're just starting off with like football and volleyball. So that's what I'm doing right now.
Thank you.
Okay. And I have a very special family here. Last year, we started recognizing families or individuals that really went above and beyond helping with the recreation. We could not do our programs without all the volunteers, and this family is just amazing. They are so positive. Their kids are coachable. Anything, anytime I need something, they just seem to magically appear, and they're like my little recreation fairies to come help me. So they're just an amazing family. Lisa does coaching for us. The kids are very involved in the sports. They just are a true example of what a family, a healthy, involved family should be. You just watch the smiles on their kids' faces and the interaction. It's pretty amazing. So I just wanted to honor the Getman family tonight. So I just want to stand up and come on up here. Thank you so much. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. She even moves tables for me. Yes.
Thank you, Ricky.
Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.
So you guys are super special.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Get up. Thank you all.
Just like that, we got no audience.
And that's the future, too. We have little ones coming up, so.
Hopefully.
Thank you, Ricky, very much.
Sure. And again, any ideas, suggestions, anything you ever have for us, we are very open to new ideas, so.
I did have one neighbor approach me the other night about an adult Wednesday night horse super league.
We've heard that too, so,
Well, I gave your number.
okay. The pits are there, so it would be fun, so.
Okay, next we have the approval of the consent agenda for the planning commission. The only thing on it is the joint meeting minutes from May 16th meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It carries.
Okay, Board of Trustees, approval of the consent agenda, which is special meeting minutes for June 27th, 2017, Resolution 2017-17, 2017-18, 2017-19, the financials, and the paid bills. And I would like a roll call on this, means it's financial.
I move to approve. And second.
And I got a little ahead of myself. Now may I have a roll call, please, after I got a motion and a second?
Well,
That was my fault.
Larry Clark, Adrian Sandoval,
Aye.
Kim Nelson,
Aye.
Michael Cowper,
Aye.
Hope Morris,
Yes.
Troy Blum.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carried. The next thing is Rich's, right? Okay, Rich, carry it away.
We'll get into the public hearing portion. To consider subdivision and zoning of the recently annexed Nelson subdivision.
And with that, I will recuse myself.
we'll open a public hearing. However, we have no public. So,
Commissioner, just for the record, just Kim did the same thing to Mayor Nelson and Kim Nelson.
And trustee Nelson.
And trustee Nelson have both excused themselves from this conversation. They've left the room.
and Martin, I'm going to turn this over to you.
Well, thank you. Well, good evening, Chair and members of the Planning Commission, members of the Town Board. Pleasure to be here again tonight. The purpose of this public hearing, as you mentioned, is to consider the zoning and subdivision of the recently annexed Nelson property, which is located between State Highway 85 on the eastern boundary, Weld County Road 25.5 on the western boundary, and the alignment of Weld County Road 24 on the southern boundary. The board approved the annexation of the Nelson property on June 6th of this year, and the zoning of the property is required within 90 days of annexation. And so the proposal tonight is to zone the property as agricultural holding with a developing urban overlay district designation. In the AH zoning district, there is a permitted principal use titled agricultural commercial enterprises, and this proposed zoning is consistent with the future land use designation of commercial industrial on the town's future land use map as a part of the 3 Mile Area Plan, which is also part of the town's comprehensive plan. So staff believes that this is an appropriate zoning designation for this property and its business. The overlay district allows the property to be less than the 40-acre minimum required for an AH zone property. So that's the matter of zoning for the property. I want to switch to subdivision. On the matter of subdivision, the Nelsons are requesting to subdivide their 3 acres, 2.99 acres, into 4 lots. Lot 1 would be 3.652 acres, Lot 2 is 3.021 acres, Lot 3 is 3.047 acres, and Lot 4 is 0.579 acres. With the proposed developing urban overlay district regulations, the lot sizes would comply with the proposed zoning. In the staff report that you have tonight, which includes this plat map, there are also 14 criteria which have been listed with some descriptions as to their compliance with Section 16-2-3 of the code. As a part of both the subdivision and the zoning of the property, there were several agencies that were sent referrals, including CenturyLink, United Power, Weld County Planning, and Weld County Engineering. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Troy to talk about the comments received from Weld County Engineering.
Thank you, Martin. In your packet, is the referral response from Will County Planning Department. And part of the response included that the town strongly suggests the town annex County Road 25.5, vague, which is portion of 25.5. We assumed all the way from Flatville, that construction, because we're annexing that 85. And then addressing the access, future accessing and maintenance agreement primarily. Then also the recent Pell study indicates that there's a long-term possible closure of County Road 85, which is currently to the access of the tractor supply to the business of the Nelsons. So we scheduled a meeting with the County Planning Department, met with Elizabeth Rolfer, Melissa and I went up there, and her planner, and we discussed these 3 items. Number 1, I explained that we're annexing that 85, not 25.5. And by legal right, we could do so. They explained that it was fairly standard that they request any town annexing into a county portion that they always want us to take their county roads, and I said absolutely not. And after a short conversation, that was agreed upon. So that was a moot point. Number 2, they brought up the maintenance agreement, which I did have a conversation with the applicant, which is the Nelsons, and they were very concerned about this language because it implied that they go into a long-term road maintenance agreement, not knowing what that may be financially to them or the business. So upon clarification, Elizabeth Robertson said this is a standard agreement. any property in Will County that requests a new access. So the current access is currently in place. It doesn't involve maintenance agreement. So the two new lots that are being platted, technically three, but if you venture the property, or one of Tractor and Supply, there's a small sliver, which is lot 4. Lot 3 is actual business. 2 is a new lot, and then 1. So it goes to the Pizza Pie North, 2 and 1 are at the end. So the discussion is, once 1 and 2 develops at some point in the future, and I talked to Nelson, they don't have any immediate plans, and they request an access from Will County, that's when Will County starts negotiating with them on what kind of maintenance or road improvements may be required. It could be as simple as like a culvert, or it could be paving. And when I explain that to them, if the use doesn't change much more than it is now, it's simply granting an access with very little maintenance involved, which is common. If you drive down 25 and a half, you see the camper manufacturer, different businesses that have access to 25. That road's not paved. I mean, there's very low maintenance done, maybe a little bit of dust today. The grader goes in like we do around our gravel roads once or twice a month, and they're great. I did explain to Nelson through my conversation with the planning department is if it was sold or developed at a large impact. Now, these are pretty small lots, but as an example, that sand and gravel, we received Will County's access and maintenance agreement from them on County 38. Very large operation. They were required to pay County 38 back in 2005. Whole different ballgame, but that gives an example of range this agreement can be. So I did speak with the applicant at length about what I just told the commission and the board. They were fine with the explanation and understanding better what Will County was asking. Then in the future, depending on the use and the traffic volume, that will affect their road maintenance agreement with that property. Would it be with them or if they sell it to the owner. So that was kind of the summary of that conversation. So, Mark?
Thanks, Troy. So based on the staff report and the information that you have before you, staff does recommend approval of the subdivision application, subject to the attached resolution. There's a planning commission resolution on the subdivision of the property, and then there are a zoning resolution and a zoning ordinance associated with the zoning for the board's consideration.
And that's all encompassed within the resolution 2017-06, right? 2017-06 would deal with the zoning of the property, known as the Nelson subdivision, and then 2017-20 is actually a resolution for the board. So the one that you're referencing is the planning commission resolution. Correct.
The planning commission resolution only addresses the subdivision because the planning commission doesn't have to give a recommendation on the zoning. So that's the reason that there's only one for the planning commission and 2 for the board, if that makes sense.
All we have to do is refer the resolution to the trustees.
Yep.
Yeah. Do we have any discussion on it?
On my copy of the resolution of Town of Platteville Planning Commission, resolution number PC 2016-06.
And we have pointed that out to the town clerk. She's going to correct that. Thank you.
So some of the letters from the county is suggesting that we annex 25 and a half into the town, so are we doing that, or that's what they suggest that we did?
That's their strong suggestion, and I gave them a very quick answer to that. And they kind of laughed.
They trying to sneak that in there?
This is everywhere.
Was Elizabeth surprised?
Not at all.
Well, if we have no more discussion, can I get a motion to recommend the resolution to the trustees?
Move to approve recommendation of the resolution to the Board of Trustees for approval, PC 2017-06, excuse me.
Have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Mayor Pro Tem.
Oh, I was waiting for somebody to vote.
We're gonna close the planning commission portion of the meeting.
Okay, and I am going to,
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, go ahead and adjourn, you're done, so you can go ahead and adjourn the planning commission meeting.
At 7:24.
Thank you.
and then we're gonna go into a brief recess.
It's up to you, you don't need to have.
Oh, okay,
You
you ready to
can-
recess? Okay.
It's up to you all.
So we're not-
Push on.
We're pushing on. Okay, so I'll reconvene the meeting. Now, the meeting was reconvened at 7:24. So it's this one? Okay. So we're gonna call for a motion and second for resolution 2017-20, a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Platteville approving the Nelson subdivision.
I move to approve resolution 2017-20, a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Platteville approving the Nelson subdivision.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. So we'll go to ordinance 752.
Oh, but we need a vote.
Oh, sorry, we need a vote.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Roll call?
No, you
You
give my
can-
consensus,
you can
sorry.
just- yeah.
Okay.
Consensus.
Okay, can we have a consensus? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, so we'll go to ordinance 752, an ordinance of the Board of Trustees of the Town of Platteville zoning lots 1 to 4, Nelson subdivision and agricultural holdings, A-8, of the developing urban overlay pursuant to section 16-5-70 of the Platteville Municipal Code. Can I get a motion and a second?
Move to approve ordinance 752 as read.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Do we need a consensus on this one?
Just as all of you.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So we'll get the Nelsons. Huh?
Are you here?
What we're doing is at this time, planning commission will be excused. We're meeting is over. And
Yes.
anyone else who may have any-
Apparently, we did. We can't make them stay.
Which is a no.
Like you're
Oh,
so ready to get
that's
it.
right. No, easy, we were gonna think.
Right, yeah, they come up.
They don't take it, by the way.
Thanks,
See you, Reggie.
Bye, guys.
You guys all done?
Take care of yourself.
I walk in, everybody else leaves.
Right? No, I think I would get that.
I need to check in.
Thanks, Rich.
Let me know when you can
Thanks, so you just took care of everything. My job easy.
We're always down to I don't know when it was agreed, but especially though the previous actions were approved.
Okay. Have a good day.
Yes, congratulations.
I don't know what that is.
We did decide that you have to stay 10 or 25 and a half, so.
Good luck with that. We'll take the
That-
recycled crap out of here.
We thought for a while that something similar to that was gonna happen.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
Okay. Everybody ready to rock and roll again? Okay. Authorization to participate in 2018 CMAQ vehicle program. Mr. Rankin.
Mr. Mayor, members of the board. CDOT just recently announced what's called a call for projects. It's been a while. They recently had one. With the Region 4 Upper Front Range, they get federal funding for congestion mitigation and air quality, which is CMAQ. In our region, certain areas qualify to acquire or apply for CMAQ vehicles, the natural gas and regular gas vehicles. They have natural gas component. We currently have 8. Police department has 4, 3 pickups and an SUV, and the public works department has 4 pickups. So 1 ton and 3.
1 ton, 1 3/4 ton.
There you go.
Oh, you do have three
Yeah.
one-tons?
Three one-tons. Because the most recent was the one the foreman drives, get the Chevy, of the other three or fours.
Okay.
You want to drive a Ford?
And ironically, the police department, the first three were Fords, keep the wires at the Chevy as well, so. I don't know how that all worked out.
These Chevrolet people are real touchy, apparently.
So the culvert project's come out, there's a little over $650,000 available in our region. In our region, it'll be the Upper Front Range, North Front Range, and then Eastern Plains, TPR. There's not the Dr. Todd in our section. We've been very fortunate in the past. It's still at 17.21% match. So as an example, the most recent one for the police department, that was just around $47,000 vehicle, we paid about $7,900 for it. And then the 10 or 15 to put it based upon what it needs. Tremendous way to get new vehicles for the fleet. The police department will replace the Crown Vic. The most recent one replaced the Explorer that we decommissioned. The chief had that decommissioned. Still out back, someone drives it to use it for code or something else. And for public works, it replaced Mr. Brand's pickup, which was bought when I came on board about 12 years ago. And we recommissioned that one for the front office to use as well as code. And then that one has not under, what, 180,000 miles, 85,000?
It turned 100,000 yesterday.
100,000. And it's a good truck, so realistically, between the rec department use, the front office on occasion, the code enforcement would be a great truck for it. We can definitely use that somewhere else. But I don't want to pass up opportunity to get a brand new truck with that amount of money for both departments. So what I'm asking is, allow me to submit a grant, which is due, this next month, or actually, in August. The Upper Front Range will hear their grants in September, and then they will be approved in their December, maybe quarterly, their December meeting, which is usually held at the TDOT office. September's meeting is usually held at Fort Worth. And this will be a 2018 budget approval, so you will be allowing me not only what specific numbers, when budget time, you just turn it down. That's the way it works. You don't have to accept it. It'll be up to the board.
We can prove it now for you and take it away in September.
I would at least like to apply to see if we can get her patent rate.
I think it'd be good. We can't afford these vehicles.
It's a great program. You know, it
For
is.
it.
Would you get another pickup for the PD, or would you get a Lincoln or something like that?
Typically CMAC or police package or SUVs or trucks typically,
Okay.
because they're the easiest outfit for the CMAC tanks and the retrofit. Of course, Public Works would be another Quadcat pickup truck probably. And we don't know, Ford, Chevy, Dodge until, how it works is they send out RFPs to all the local dealerships in the area, including Denver, and they bid, in the low bid, because it's federal funds, the low bid automatically gets it. So recently Chevy dealerships been getting the bid before that Ford dealership was getting the bids, just who comes in low bid.
How many vehicles, active vehicles do we have in PD right now?
On patrol.
We have 7. 7 with the SROs.
7 with the SROs. Okay. So we're gonna,
4 use for patrol, chief has one, and the 2 officers in the schools each have one.
So we got, pretty much every officer has their own vehicle.
Not quite, we're close. Close. 2 SROs are dedicated car, chief's dedicated car. And then the other 6 officers share the other 4 cars.
at the
So they
price,
rotate out for maintenance.
We have to see, we can't balk on the opportunity to get
17%.
something that cheap, so.
yeah, I agree.
I mean, we're gonna have to pay to equip it, whether it's a used vehicle or a new vehicle.
True,
So,
that's exactly right.
And just for future reference, usually the police will Funding will come out of the Law Enforcement Equipment Training Fund, which is special revenue fund through court, and partially funded by contracts for Gilchrist and the school district. Public Works typically comes out of either streets or part of it can come out of water sewer, it's used there, but I'd recommend Clay Street fund.
Not David's paycheck?
Unless I get the 17.21% discount, then we'll find a way to do that. We wouldn't have to, if you're going in September, we wouldn't be taking delivery of them in 2017.
Oh, no,
We can put these on 2018 budget, right?
It would be 2018 budget. We won't actually receive them probably till this time next year.
We'd be lucky to
Oh,
get
this
it
time.
2018.
Okay. Yeah, this will be a 2018 budget line item that you will have to approve when the time comes.
We can start the process now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just need to get the grant submitted by the deadline.
Red tape.
I think at least 2 every rotation makes perfect sense.
And just so you know, only police and public works vehicles are qualified because the Federal Highway Administration came down with a clause that I have to prove that these vehicles are used as emergency operation vehicles. So in a small community, I can justify public works and police easily on any kind of natural disaster emergency matter to respond for street closures or whatever the case may be.
But not the senior.
Senior, I tried with the seniors, I tried with admin, I tried with recreation, they do not qualify. They have to have the on-street emergency response component.
So how does that work if we take on these vehicles and later decide to rotate them out to, I mean, do we have that option?
You know, once we purchase them, there are no strings attached there for anybody.
Okay, so if in 2-3 years, we decide we get more vehicles and we want to transfer this over to the seniors, if we had an SUV or whatever the case may be, no strings attached to that.
We asked about that. The one requirement that is intent is to replace another vehicle in that department. That why the police would be used somewhere else or decommissioned or sold. Mr. Grant's truck would not stay in public works, it would be used in another department or decommissioned or sold. That's the one requirement.
The seniors always want a different vehicle. I was just thinking, how could we have a police bus?
Well, we can
Swap it.
swap it. There you go.
And leave the lettering on the side for the seniors.
Yeah, the undercover.
But that's my request, is to have it
Senior
swapped.
tax wagon.
You submit the grant application, so let's prove it.
You're easy.
I move to authorize submittal of the application to the current QMAP, or CMAC, vehicle grant program.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on approval for a 2018 CMAC vehicle program. Being as this is money, I probably would be prudent to get a roll call, would it not?
That would be fine, yes.
Adrian Sandoval,
Aye.
Kim Nelson,
Aye.
Michael Cowper,
Aye.
Hope Morris,
Yes.
Troy Blum,
Aye.
Larry Clark.
Okay. Make it so, Mr. Manager.
I'll do my best.
Upper Front Range Regional Transportation Plan for 66 Improvements Project submittal. Mr. Rankin?
Thank you. Again, it's the same upper front range that we're part of region planning, regional transportation plan region. It also came out recently with the call for projects. It's not really a call for projects, it's call for requested proposal projects. At the last quarterly upper front range meeting, which I think you were at,
Yes, sir.
Mayor, I think Rich Smith is there as well. There was a discussion with the 3 commissioners from Larimer, Morgan, and Will County, who manage the upper front range, about, was open discussion about the projects on the state transportation plan, otherwise called the STIP. Many of those projects have been on there for years and are high-dollar projects, so without funding, they become stale. So the conversation from a lot of the communities, especially the smaller ones like us, is, well, they're never going to get done, but we have other projects that are more affordable that could be pursued with smaller amounts of money. So after a fairly decent conversation, Commissioner Kirkmeyer from Will County led the conversation by saying, when the money comes in annually, could they potentially take up to $500,000 and set that aside for smaller project proposals? while the majority of that fund, because we get about 2.2 to 2.5 million every year from the feds for transportation on region. The state gets a little under 10, but they have to divvy that up equally amongst all the transportation agencies. So it sounds to me like the Everfront Range and the committee agreed to that synopsis. Nothing's in writing yet, but they're looking at what proposals may come forward. What I'm wanting to propose on behalf of Platteville is the 66 corridor improvements, because we just did a feasibility study, and CDOT paid for that. FHU, Hillsburg, Bullwig, and whatever, I can't remember. I swear the German names, but FHU was the firm that did it. They did a very nice job. I have the map back here. It's a very huge map. I can show it to anybody if you like it, but mainly it involves a full movement intersection of Main Street 66, including turning lanes on all four sides. So there would be some right-of-way acquisition, quite potentially, or negotiation. You have to negotiate the ditch for some culverting, like the Shell and the banks did, on the south side of the road. Potentially working with the school district on some acquisition for sidewalks, because this plan also includes full sidewalks on both sides of 66, from Division to the Everyday Store, and then from Main Street down to the Shell. So you have pedestrian access on both sides. A raised median from 85 all the way to Division. So you would not be able to cross right in, right out illegally. You'd have to go to the controlled intersection.
Which would still be Main and 66.
Which would be Main 66, but wider with turning lanes. So those are the main components of the project proposal. I did get a hold of Rich Fuller. He was the lead planner for FHU. They gave me an updated cost number, because a couple years ago they were thinking about $225,000. Now it's $350,000 because of the added expense. Because then, if CDOT would have authorized FHU to design the construction documents and finalize the design, CDOT would have taken over certain aspects of it, such as the environmental checklist, the historical checklist. Those are all checklists that you have to do on these federal projects. But since this would be a town pursuit project through the Everfront Range, that money has to be added back in. It's not given by CDOT. That's how it works. So Rich Fuller, and I like him. I've worked with him for a number of years. He does very quality work. I believe in his numbers, so I'll be making a request to the Everfront Range at the September meeting for the 66 corridor project enhancement for $350,000 to complete the final construction documents and design. We need to have those before we go to part two, which is the expensive one, which is going to be $3 to $5 million to improve, based upon a rough estimate from CDOT.
Who would be responsible for the land?
For the what?
Land.
Land acquisition, for the right of way? I think that'd be part of the project, wouldn't it?
The design would include what was necessary for these improvements. When we get to the construction part, then the acquisition will be have to negotiate with, from CDOT. We couldn't do that. It'd be part of CDOT.
Oh, good.
Because we would have to do a partnership of some sort. I don't know the specific answers there. But if we're getting federal funding, even when Dave and I did these sidewalk projects, we have to be excused from that negotiation. We can't be part of it. They have to negotiate directly with the property owner. And the ditch.
That's fine with me. Now would we have to go wider, all the way to Division? We would have to widen that road? Or would it be clear to the bridge?
No, basically, starting about Division, going back east toward 85, that's where the turning lane to go south on Main would start. So that would be a section of culvert for that ditch. I talked to Rick Fergie, he came in the other day, we talked about his corner property, he bought the old Abbott farm, and he's all in favor of it, by all means. Of course, it opens up opportunity for him, for his property, which we would support that, provide retail to town. When I talked to the schools previously, not this year, but I talked to Don Rangel before just about the concept. He'd be in favor because it involves school safety, pedestrians, crosswalks, a better intersection, better lighting. That's called a temporary light out there. Even though they've been there 50 years, it's temporary light. I have not had one-on-ones with the businesses down there, but I think this is a town-wide concern, not just a local regional concern. So, that's my approach. I'm asking the board approval to submit the request. We're not allocating any funding right now. We're asking CDOT to fund all of it. But at some points, there might be negotiation. Johnny Olson, our Director of Region 4, is very good at negotiating. He may come back and say, well, I've got 300,000, can you chip in 50? I got 250, can you chip in 100? That's how they did the Pell. Years ago, when they started that, 4 years ago, we made a donation. Yes. And all the communities up and down the 85 corridor made a donation to help offset those costs. So just on, be fully, you be fully aware of how this process may work. But it's better than us funding it all by ourselves.
Yes,
Yeah.
unequivocally.
So this is step one, it has to be done. When I talked to Rich Fuller from FHE, is it, unless travel plans on changing drastically as far as growth or traffic volume in the future, the plan they come up with as far as the final construction documents will probably be good for years. Because we're kind of landlocked there, with the South Platte, 85, and UP. Traffic may increase, but it shouldn't impact any change on the final construction document. Because it may take a few more years to get, I know it'll take a few more years to get the funding to build this road. I already talked to DOLA. That's complicated because federal funds and state funds you can't use one to match others. So we're gonna have to find some partnerships for this one.
Irrespective of what traffic does, we really are obligated to do something. Even if it has to be, even if that project would have to be updated in 15 years, we would still improve traffic flow and improve safety moving ahead with this project. So I think it's the one thing that, I don't even know we have a choice, really, I mean, morally.
Well, there's no commitment on our part yet, or at this point, it's not even financial, I'm asking you, I want you to be fully vested in this decision, but when I go to see it, I'm asking for $350,000 to pay for this design. So it's ready to be shovel-ready per se, and bid out when the time comes. So, that's my request to the board.
Do we need a motion or consensus? We'll go this far.
Move to approve the submittal of the request to include the State Highway 66 improvement project as part of the Upper Front Range Regional Transportation Plan.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on this. Do I need a roll call on this? No money? No, well, there's no money yet. You're
Right,
exactly
so
right.
no.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Next, Rogers Farm Park improvements. Mr. Manager?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One young lady did come in today and wanted to read into that. She did want to give a public comment, which can make it, so she wrote it out. Mary's going to grab a copy, so I want you to be able to read that regarding this topic, specifically the dog park. Just to summarize, during last fall's budget preparation, in the use tax, we talked about park improvements. In the use tax fund, in my report, I indicated about $30,000 for miscellaneous improvements that Dave and I knew when Dream Homes has done this, some additional landscaping, some sods, some additional trees, and then Journey only paid for a small portion of the park project, and there's a lot more open space that can be developed, either with sod, trees, or whatever the case may be. And thus we talked about a possible dog park. It was a discussion. Nothing was approved, but it was built into the budget. So when the time came, as it is now, are you wanting to finish that project? We've had some naysayers and saying, we don't want another dog park. I've received comments myself, and I've talked to a few, and I asked him if I could use his name. David Betch called me the day he was right there by the new entrance. And he said, tell me what's going on. And I said, it's proposal, but it's nothing's confirmed. The board has to finalize things. He thought the dog park that was being discussed was going to go in that, where the gas low? I said, absolutely not. There's no way. That would not be good. I said, it was an idea to go over on the very north side. Let me read this before I can see something. So as he finished up the letter from Ms. Kiefer, Jacqueline Kiefer, I believe her name is. I've heard from both sides. I've had people call me who are dog owners, they walk their dogs a lot, they love to have them there. And I've had others saying it's not the best place, we already have one, I think you already heard that argument. It's not the best location, but it's over by the ball fields, and at that time, when we built it, because people going down with their dogs, watching kids and missing out. Because the logic behind that was used like that dog park during the evening activities throughout the summer, and people could still access it at other times. So the $30,000, the $20,000 are two separate items. $30,000 is for improvements in general for landscaping, irrigation, which I do still want to pursue. I don't have bids for you yet, but David did put together a spreadsheet on some basic costs for sod irrigation. So that's well over, but that's pretty much that whole area immediately east of the playground to Sturkle. One idea came up, and I talked to the mayor about it, talked to some citizens about it. The dog park wasn't in favor of what would be. And then last spring, I can't remember her name, but she lives in the new subdivision. She was kind of good conversation. She said, I'm tired of all these portable basketball goals. So put some basketball goals over there on a concrete slab. Some of us can get rid of ours because it's so close. The kids can go over there and play, and it'd be a long-term, low-cost amenity in the park. So I asked David to get a basic total for concrete, some commercial-style basketball goals, chain nets. It's a very simple project, a very simple approach. It'd just be more costly. The existing grassed-in, sodded area, I think, and this is my idea, fencing that with a nice decorative split rail, wider tan fence. I'm not sure what was made of, David.
It's that PVC vinyl fencing, two-rail, split-rail fence.
It's kind of like what's over there in front of the street on the other side of Sturkle at the end.
Similar, yep.
But a lot of parks will have that as kind of a buffer from the retention pond. It won't keep kids out, but it's a buffer. And it would look nice, kind of outlining that grass area in that park.
The only question I have on those plastic fences is they don't suffer much abuse. And if young folks get rambunctious, I don't know that stuff would stand up.
The other idea is I noticed, Dave stopped by Milliken, they have a kind of a wood split rail fence, and then also I noticed in the new subdivision down on the frontage road from 66 south to the county offices, the new Barefoot Lakes from Firestone, they have a nice wood split rail fence down there, so there's another option. I just think it would look better if we buffer that to give, especially the colored sport kids, an idea of where the park is, where it's not. That was just my suggestion. So thinking around the perimeter of the park.
The basketball court, where specifically would that be?
It would be
east of that shelter? Okay.
the sidewalk along Circle, then at the very end of the last house curves back to the west and connects to this new playground shelter. So north of that sidewalk, the south where the old tank battery was, there's a nice open space right there. It's just dirt and weeds right now, but one idea is I told David, it's a mini court, it's like a 30 by 40, not a full basketball court, but a miniature court. I've seen a lot of parks with, and you can still play a full pickup game, or just little kids on this goal, big kids on this goal.
Okay.
And you can center it there, you can put some benches around it, some shade trees, you can plant sod irrigated. It looks nice. I mean, that's just an idea.
How about a skate park?
talked about that before, again, like the dog park there, we already have a skate park, and we need another skate park. And that was a discussion a couple years ago, actually. But, you know, all ideas are open, it's just what's most practical for that.
Did you look into splash pad?
I'm sorry?
Did you look into splash pad, maintenance and insurance?
I don't have all the detail on the splash pad yet. Part of the argument that I heard is, you know, Lincoln and Riverview are kind of central located in town, they're more like public parks. Steve, Rogers, it's kind of like Coronado. You look at those, the public park is really for Rogers and Old Homestead. And one thing I did hear, and one of the main comment in here, but David Betts, for example, made a comment. We have enough parking for our local traffic to be over there, but if you bring in people from all over town, we're not going to be able to park anywhere. So that was his concern. It was legitimate.
Absolutely.
It was. But I do have some information that Mary sent in a splash pad. I just haven't dived into a lot right now. But I honestly didn't think this would be the best area for a splash pad for this location.
Yeah, no more central is a good idea with more parking. But there's always been opposition to put it in a different park because then you lose your grass. Where are you going to do t-ball, soccer? So I don't want to just say there's no parking, let's not talk about it when, you know, we're going to not talk about putting a splash pad in another park.
I think the basketball court would be great.
This is the one thing we don't have.
Right.
Now, the town doesn't have one.
Right. The middle school has.
If you drive around that subdivision, I bet you there's 30 temporary hoops up along the side of the road.
There's a
Well,
lot.
yeah, but they would-
There's a lot of.
There's a ton of them.
I bet they would put those away.
Well, yeah, they probably would get rid of them, and I know police officers don't love them in the street, so, yeah, definitely.
One of the things, if I may, Troy, one of the, on those commercial style basketball goals, you can find them for as little as $500, but the good ones that are gonna hold up,
Right.
and they also make some that have an adjustment on them. So Troy was talking about having the younger kids being able to, where they've got a level where you can set them at like 3 different levels, a low, medium, and high. A standard height would be the high, and then for younger children, you could go down with it. So if you had smaller kids playing on one end and older kids playing on the other, you could actually lower the hoop. So I don't know that we would get an adjustable one or not, because that's something else to be broken. But it is, they do make some commercial grade ones, so it would be at least something that we would consider.
Yeah, 'cause kids are going to hang on that.
Well, one cost is if you did say the 40 by 60, and you put the standard goals on each end on the wide, on the width side. On the narrow side, you could install some commercial smaller goals, shorter, like 7-footers, like the elementary school has.
Oh, yeah.
So you have the big kids, and if they're not doing using the whole course, the little kids can use the side, what I call the side court. It's just an idea, but good thought. That makes all the sense.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Last year when we talked about parks with Riverview and Rogers Farm, my argument is that the only public swings were at the schools, so now we have swings at Riverview and Rogers. Now it's basketball goals. The only public basketball goes to the schools. So logically, this would give an option. And just so you know, I do want to put at least one, when the community center renovation is done, I want to put one on the east side of that parking lot, down by the community center, kind of like that shelter belt.
A swing set?
No, basketball. So, when there's...
Swing set's fine, I don't know.
It's an option. I've been asked quite a bit for that, especially during rentals. They get something to do outside instead of tripping
Oh, I never even thought
the
of
ball
that.
pools. Yeah. So, I mean, that's, we put one down there too, kind of started to make it good.
I think it'd be a good thing to have here in town.
I feel it would be a happy medium for everybody.
Y'all, none of you probably remember, we used to have a tennis court here in town.
I was asked for a tennis court down there too.
We used to have one in Lincoln Park.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what the playground is now?
No, it was at the far west end,
Okay.
close to where the playground is now.
Yeah.
But we tore it out years ago.
Yeah,
I don't know, it just doesn't seem
Yeah, I
like.
do remember that, now that you
Tennis
mention
crowd, we
it.
didn't have big tennis
Oh.
crowd here in Platteville, it's kind of a spot.
Going to them.
Platteville Country Club.
So, what I'm asking the board for is just a direction tonight that we come back and work with David, and we probably get some bids. I don't know, it'd probably be second meeting of August, first meeting of September, probably need some time to solidify some concrete bids. It may not take that long, but,
I wouldn't want to try and commit to something sooner than that.
but we get a bid for landscaping irrigation, somebody to install that, and then we get a bid for the concrete surface work. And then we could probably, David hates when I do it, public work could probably mount the goals in. We can probably bolt those in. If not, we can find somebody else to put those in.
So this includes the park over there, where we're talking, north of, or east of the park, and then that other, open area, we're getting grass and saw that.
Yeah, if you're staying on a circle facing west of the park, there's the house, and the sidewalk cuts through there, so you got between the house and the sidewalk, dirt and weeds, and then dirt and weeds up to, if you line it up where the edge of the grass is from the current park where it's built, that'd be a straight line coming back to Skirville. So down that little low area where the tank battery was, that would not be part of it, nor would the, obviously, the retention pond.
But is this, the other area over there where the wells were,
Yeah.
Nope.
are we gonna do anything with that right now, or that?
That you can, but overflow parking was my idea over there. There's an entrance, so we could probably gravel that if it's parking.
I think you're talking two different areas, and maybe I'm misunderstanding.
Are you talking about the entrance?
I think they were talking.
Right, on the entrance, where the wells were,
Where the actual wells were, not
Oh.
the tank
Not the
battery.
tank batteries.
Oh, gotcha. This is only for
This is
the
only
north
that
side. Again, I'll bring Mr. Betts, because he was worried there, 'cause that's where he lives. I said, well, really didn't plan anything this year for that, unless you want to pursue something. Anadarko did go in and decommission, they plugged it, they put in the native seed. I was not willing to overspend, I was thinking next year we could probably look at something like that during budget. A couple ideas came up, because they don't want a lot of noise and a lot of kids there.
So fireworks pads out of
No.
this.
Two ideas came up. One was a couple small shelters with some trees around, like me had. If you go in there where they decommission all sewer, you know, they just make a little park with some small little shelters.
We already have a shelter there.
Another one was a nice
No,
gazebo.
it's on that south
The
side.
open area there.
Another one was a nice gazebo with some shade trees, because there's so many walkers in town, and they walk through Rogers Farm and 32.5 and so forth. That was another idea. But something that doesn't draw a lot of traffic for parking or a lot of noise in the evenings. But I haven't really thought about that short. I mean, I haven't done that for you.
I didn't know if that was what part of the sod and stuff was, so.
No, this is all just on the north side, over by the curve. So the board's, my recommendation was if we can continue this to a future meeting, and Mr. Brandon will bring back some solid proposals for basketball court and some landscaping irrigation.
Sounds good.
Yeah, if we can get some solid numbers, we can move forward. Anybody have anything else to add on this subject?
No.
Okay, we'll move on. Reports, CML attendees reports. Who wants to tell us how much fun they had first?
I'll defer to elected officials.
Hope had the most fun.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I got food poisoning while I was over there and had to be rushed to the hospital
Oh.
Really?
Tuesday.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and I want to thank Troy and Sherry and Kim for taking care of Bill while I was the first patient in the new ambulance. It wasn't me. I know.
A dubious honor at best.
But yeah, I was sick Tuesday, so I didn't attend any classes. Wednesday and Thursday I did.
I bet you better than in classes.
Yeah, I missed my first luncheon.
What classes did you go to, home?
Class, I went to, the same one Kim did, what class did we go to?
the 2017 legislative.
Oh, yeah, that one we didn't understand. Oh, we did go to cybersecurity. Oh, my gosh, that was
Which
so
is dark
interesting.
web.
I am not getting a programmable coffee pot or a doorbell, that's a video doorbell, because they said that they can hack into your appliances.
Any of that, all the appliances now have
And we
that.
were gonna get that video doorbell, but I don't know.
And then I went to social media, with Facebook and everything. We talked about town Facebook pages and promoting, putting activities on, stuff like we have on the website, but have more detail. And then when we're doing projects, like road construction, you can put that on there, this road's gonna be closed this day. Also, besides the events, projects that are coming up, we can be the first to put it on Facebook, where the citizens will get the facts correctly, and that it's a real plus. Frederick has a really nice page, and I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but she was one of the speakers, and I was really interested in that.
Do they have a full-time staff person that's managing Facebook?
She said the most she works on is 20 hours a week, so she's about half-time on the Facebook page, but it really is a good communication for the people on the phone.
We'll get the mayor a Twitter account, he can.
You'd have to teach him first.
Yeah, mayor. Flat bill.
Yeah, that's not a good idea, Mike. We'd have to hire somebody.
Tweet out his thoughts.
And be careful what you wish for.
What
Once you
really
get me
impressed
going, I
me
might
was
not stop.
the Surfside luncheon. I sat next to the board and stuff from Victor, and they have 400 citizens. They're down near Cripple Creek. And they have this brand new event plaza, and they were showing me pictures they had on their phone, and it's fantastic. Now, how do you afford that with 400 people? And he said, we have a really good grant writer.
They also get a lot of mineral impact from the gold mine.
And they would get some of that.
That makes a difference.
There are, yeah. Oh, they are?
Yeah.
I was really impressed with that. So there's hope for Platteville.
And Milliken is going to allow medical marijuana coming
Yes,
into town.
we learned that,
So,
Medical and
well, I think it says
recreational?
medical right now, isn't it? Did she say?
She was talking about dispensary. We sat with her
I
at
thought,
one of the meetings
yeah, the governor's.
at the governor's.
And so they're going to allow the medical marijuana to come into town. Nature's Earth is probably the one that's going to come into town. Just so we're all aware of it.
She was quite happy about it.
She was way happy about it because the money's going to bring in the Milliken.
But they also said there's others who could.
As I watched the town manager swallow hard.
Yeah.
And you know, the kids are gonna find it anywhere. So, I mean, just because you put one in your town doesn't mean all the kids are gonna go to it. They're gonna find it wherever. They found it before it was legal.
Yeah.
They're gonna find it now. So I don't think putting a dispensary into a town is gonna cause the kids to do it. That's my opinion.
We'll keep an eye on Milliken and see how it goes.
See how it goes.
That, got it? Okay, good. I was just thinking, irony with that, dark web. So would that be ironic if, town manager's coffee pot turned on him?
I do watch a lot of sci-fi.
I hadn't even heard of that until that cybersecurity class.
Oh, I'd heard about that. But they actually, they went through some of the dark
They went
web
through
and
some of
showed
the,
us
all of
some
them,
the ways they collect.
credit cards, and what was it, email addresses,
Yeah.
what else were they selling?
And health records.
Health records.
Social, and everything else. Scary.
That's pretty sobering, when you stop and think about it. Because it's something you really, it's a crime that anybody can commit, and it's nonviolent, so it can be almost done anywhere.
What scared us was the government started the dark web.
Of course, that's how it works.
And then every criminal got on it.
I personally am shocked. Having said all that, now it's time for the police chief's report.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for that. I have nothing to really add. With the hiring of Matt, our new SRO, we had to let an SRO, unfortunately, last week, let him go for some officer safety areas of concern that we weren't able to ignore or overlook, so we had to release him from employment, and the hiring of a new SRO is up in the air. If that's going to happen or not, being worked out with Superintendent Rangel and Mr. Rankin. So that's the only thing I wanted to add, other than what's in my report. I'm happy to answer any questions, though, if you have any.
What is that new soldier, I can't say it. Your patch look like, tell me.
Well, if I have one, in case someone asks me.
Bill wants one of those.
You can have that.
Probably. Whoa, pretty.
Carl one goes old school and shoes, so.
The one you have now is,
Well, it's on there. We actually, we have the new ones on.
oh, you were the new ones? Okay. But the other one had the town seal, right?
No, that was a couple,
State seal.
and the state seal's on that one, but a couple of them ago, there was.
Well, good job on that.
Thank you very much.
You designed that, or?
Mhm.
Nice. Is there any uptick in any crime or anything specific in town, or?
You know, we've had an increase just because it's summertime, but nothing that's real alerting or, at this point, worrisome.
That's very nice.
Thank you.
I noticed the citations have gone up.
Yes.
Appreciate the extra work.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Are you
It's a whole lot
fully
easier in
staffed?
the summertime. A whole lot easier in the summertime to write those citations. I think that they'll rise also as of next month. Everyone's in school and can hammer the school zones, and so those should go up.
Please, yeah, the school zones, that's always been productive. Are you fully staffed on your line officers now? I understand you're short of SRO possibly, but are you?
Whenever everyone gets out of FTO this summer, yes, and that'll be 7,
Okay.
including myself.
You just have one of them two right now.
McChesney and Longo.
Well, line officers, so.
Oh, line officer, just one more. He should be released mid-next month, hopefully.
Recently, I've been noticing on 85, when I'm coming into town, going north, they actually slow down to 55 at the sign. Has that been you guys or the state?
Yes, and in fact, I think that's Will County and us and CSP, it's a united effort, and we're all helping to slow everyone down on
Well,
it.
it's working.
Oh, that's
For the
great.
first time?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I go up 85, and I'm going 65, sometimes I have my crew sit at 68, and then they're just flying by
Yeah.
me. I'm like 85, 90 miles an hour. I'm like, what the?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I think, there were 63 accidents on Highway 85 this last month. The
Wow.
the month before that, 75, the month before that in the 80s. So we're slowly lowering those accident numbers, but just in ours, in our area, there was 11 accidents last month, which is pretty high still. And then we had a couple this morning that they were in town on Main. So you're gonna have them, but we're hammering it, hopefully slowing people down and reducing those numbers even more.
I drive, with my job, I drive all over the place, and I go into a lot of the small communities, and I see a lot of the small digital speed limit, your speed limit system, it's flashing their speed and stuff like that. I know we talked about putting something like that on Sturkle, but do you think that'd be beneficial to put around some of these areas where you high traffic and high speed areas, or?
I think so.
Because I see them, I mean.
Well, you get one.
There's smaller communities than ours that have them in their communities, you know, slowing down, so I know we talked about it last year, but if that's something we should probably put on the table sometime to have out there.
Absolutely. The town manager has requested that I bring bids for that in the next 30 days or so you'll be seeing it.
Oh, good.
Okay.
I want that to tell me slow down.
Yeah, it'll flash it.
Exactly, yeah. Even if nothing else.
But it'll wake you up, yeah.
It gives
They're like, oh, yeah.
citizens that we actually are concerned and actually are doing something.
I was gonna, and I brought it up to my wife the other day, on 85, every quarter mile, blah, it's like, did they specifically put those, like, to wake people up or speed bumps, or, you know, do you guys notice that? I mean, when I'm driving, it's like,
They're called rumble strips, and you're not supposed to drive.
no, not the rumble. That's because I'm texting driving. No, I don't know if you guys, but now she's like, great, now I'm gonna notice every time I drive up 85, all the bumps.
It's getting worse. They actually ground them down in
But it's getting worse.
Hillcrest, but they keep developing. I talked to CDOT, I never got their answer. I mean, the roads are public in some areas, it's worth
Yeah.
pushing together.
It was done when it was brand new. I was told by a superintendent that was working on that, and he said that the state engineers were making them put the mix down to dry. They wanted to add some stuff to it, some oil to it, to loosen it up, and said they wouldn't let them do it, so they said it would make those swales, because the laydown machine just couldn't compensate. That was what they told me.
It's about every quarter mile, you hit those, where they group down, but it's worse than some others that they didn't. Some people said.
I might have a question for the chief. Are our officers wearing the body cameras?
Yes, they are if they want. It's not mandatory right now. So some are and some aren't.
Are we gonna make it mandatory?
You asking me?
Well, who makes it mandatory?
I guess if it were up to me, it's not something that I would necessarily love. If it were to be mandatory, then that would have to come from my higher-uppers to make it mandatory, but...
Can you elaborate on why you're not in favor so much?
Sure, I guess, I mean, I think new officers having them on, it really helps, because then they can go back and watch themselves, they can see what they do right and wrong, we can say where they need help or whatnot. I think if every officer has them on, and I guess also, I think it would be okay to have them on if it was on a 911 call or something that could be high risk. I think to have them on all the time, no matter what, I think sometimes that can remove the attention on what it should be on and the matter at hand, because you're worried about saying a swear word, or you're worried that you might end up on 9 News, and so you will hold back, and your attention is off what it should be, and that's the matter at hand. That's just me. I mean, I'm all about it for new officers and high-risk kind of calls. I think they're awesome, but...
So how is our officers gonna be able to remember to turn them on if they're not turning them on regularly?
And that's exactly it. It would have to just be something that they would, just hearing on the news, there was an officer that shot that lady outside the car, and they didn't have him on. So that raises all kinds of accusations, and so now they made it into a negative. They made it into a negative that they had them on, but they didn't have them on. Well, they were sitting in a car, so did they have a need to really turn those on? If they were just sitting there, and I mean, you have to retain all this surveillance too, and which is a ton of, a whole lot of money to save them, and then you need to worry about how long and retention, and maybe the town attorney would have more ideas having worked with other agencies.
Well, yeah, but we approved and spent all this money on the cameras to be used to protect you guys. That was the reason we approved this, was to protect you guys, so somebody doesn't possibly accuse you guys.
Sure. I think they're
Kind of a double-edged sword.
a good, yeah, exactly.
I think, if I may, Carl.
Sure.
Chief and Carl and I talked about this, obviously, on my past. It has a definite use. And when I was chief in St. Mary's, Kansas, I sold all the cars, and they had the lights, which were remote lights. And as soon as you put any toggle switch on, you're over it, whether it be a wig-wag, just a caution, or the full, fireworks display, I called it. It automatically came on, obviously didn't have to do anything. And I worked a case where I pulled it to the local hospital, and it was left assault. All you saw on my camcorder, because it went to the little 8mm tape, you saw the hospital, but you heard every word I said on the interview this young lady. So there are possibilities, but those only came on, like the chief was requiring, during emergency response situations, which is where they're needed. I don't think that the officers should be monitored 24/7, so to speak.
Babysitters.
But those are conversations that I do need to have actually with CIRSA, because I know they have some opinion on that, because they are the ones that ensure and defend us in those litigation issues. So I think it's kind of, but I don't want to go too far. I just want to say the conversations being discussed, or the items being discussed. And every time I wake up and hope when I hear it on the news, it just makes me cringe.
I know, me too.
But I don't want to be an armchair quarterback and criticize what's happened without knowing all the information. But it's easy because, I'll just say this, the media thrives for information to fake news, and they'll put their opinion on there, which skews the facts many times.
When the news media gets a hold of it, they edit it down to what they want to show.
So, but it's a good question, it's one for the future, we'll bring that back once Carl talks some more. Sorry, Carl.
No, sure.
Have those
My
things,
opinion was gonna be checked with CIRSA, just me.
Is it?
Well, I mean, just because, as Troy already mentioned, they're the ones that,
They're-
they're gonna be the ones defending, so.
has the technology been changing enough to where some of the issues, like the length of duration and being the time, switching on and the duration that it can record, has some of that stuff been changing and updating to where you would have less, maybe individual control over it?
Well, there
Are they changing the officer's control of those things? I guess that's my question.
Well, the answer to that, if I may, Carl, technology's always changing. Tomorrow there'll be a new system out. 15 years ago, when I was a chief out there, the board let me buy the state-of-the-art, dash cam with the audio. $7,000 per car, and I had 5 cars. I can't imagine what you're gonna pay now, but you can go cheap and get the little ones that you put in your glasses, you put on your lapel, you put them on your chest. It's a discussion will come up, but answer your question, it changes all the time. It's electronics.
Well, it seems like police stuff changes pretty rapidly.
It's moving along. I think the technology for sure moving along, but you always run into the wall of how you retain all this hours and hours, and for how long, and you have to retain it for the whole statute of limitations or until the hearing's completely done. There's a lot of work and a lot of money would be involved in if it ever became mandatory that we record all the time and not just high-risk situations, high-risk calls.
I would hate to think that that we would want to armchair quarterback our cops so much that we would want surveillance on them all the time they're on duty. There has to be a place for discretion. But I think in high-risk situations like you're saying, protecting the officer has proven to be a good thing.
Well, I will definitely make this a future conversation during the budget when time comes in here in 2 months.
Thank you.
I have one thing that we talked about on 66, I think a year ago to Johnny at CDOT. The speed limit sign right on Division and 66 says 45. It's right across the street from the playground. I don't like them being able to go that fast, right where there's kids.
We're at on 66.
On 66.
Westbound.
Yeah, westbound. Coming this way, it's 35, going that way, it's 45. it's still in our speed, in our town,
That's how you
and
get
it's
past
right
the
next to
vision,
the
though.
school.
Yeah, once you leave past the vision, then you
Then
see
it
the
goes into
45.
45.
Yeah,
So-
but it's right there.
But you
at
can't go
that
up to 45
intersection.
until you're past the sign,
Right.
right? You're not
Right,
supposed to be
well, you're
45
not
after the
supposed
sign.
to.
Well,
But-
yeah, but they won't go 35 if we put 30 or 35 on there either. That's just a
It
accelerated.
should be
turn.
35, and then when you get to the bridge, when you're past our town, you can speed up. I don't like the thought of them.
When they
because
see, when they see the 35 and I watch it, when they see the 45, hammer down.
I have talked to CDOT about that, because when they did their, I said to David, Steve, at theirs, when they did Main Street analysis on the traffic signs and speed regulation. I want Main Street to be closer to 25, especially from,
I think that'd be a good idea.
especially from basically Elizabeth to get, Elizabeth Goodrich, that main corridor. And based upon the designation of the street, what's around it, it's a truck route, 30 is the lowest it would go. And my argument is, well, if you say 30, they'll go 35, and they said, we can't regulate based upon anticipation.
Right.
They said, if we wanted to go 45, we put a sign that says 45.
It's
If-
black and white. You
If
follow
they break the law, then you have to
Right.
write a ticket, and I said, well, that's not realistic, but I understand the problem. So we did talk to Steve on that, and
At the
I just thought,
bulldozer,
is that legal, going 35 one direction, but
Whatever
45
CDOT
the other?
says,
Yep.
legal is legal.
Is that right?
yeah, because you're coming into town, so you're slowing down to 35, but in the same corridor you're leaving, so you can speed up to 45. That's their.
Right as you're going past the school?
Yep.
Just doesn't seem.
I would like to see on Main Street at Goodrich, at the dozer, in front of the cafe, put that 60. That would be entertaining.
Why they going that way anyway?
Hit that, yeah. I watch once in a while, especially those minivans, boy, when they hit that gully, they make a really good bang.
Anything else for the chief?
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for listening.
Sorry, I tended to carry on. Okay, next we have Public Works Director, Mr. Brand.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't have, I shouldn't say I don't have any. I have one additional item to add to my report. Luke Swagel, who's been with us for about 22 months, has accepted a position with the city of Boulder and will be leaving us August 3rd. So,
The second one you lost?
it is
You got coming back though,
Luke Swagel.
right?
Shane Quintana was back in the States
Just my son got back,
and
too.
is headed back to Europe tomorrow. So Shane said he'd be back to work with us somewhere around the end of August, first part of September. And I suggested that he could be back for Harvest Days, and he said to say hello, and that was it.
He's got 30 days leave from the Army, so.
Yeah.
So I think he's taking a personal trip to Europe, and then I think he said his orders are done August 14th, which is Harvest Days week, thus my implication that he should be here for that. But he's also got 2 weeks of vacation built up with us while he's been gone, so.
So when is Mr. Slagle's last day?
August 3rd. He did give us 3 weeks' notice. He didn't want to leave us in a lurch on that next on-call rotation. So he told the city of Boulder when they offered him the position that he wanted to do that. And when they called me, they were very impressed with his attitude, with his asking to do that. They felt like they were definitely getting a good employee, which I informed them that he was late all the time, took long lunches. They wouldn't want him around.
Did he leave because of salary, pay, or?
It is.
Yeah.
Yep.
We can't really compete with the bigger giants.
So, and a big part of it for Luke, and we had a long discussion, was that he was, the location. He lives in Lafayette, so he was right at the edge of our on-call timeframe. If he caught really bad traffic, he was 38 to 45 minutes getting here. Most days, he was about 30 to 35 minutes getting here. I think he's figuring on a bad day, he'll be about 12, 15 minutes from the new employee, where he's working at the wastewater treatment facility.
So have you posted the job out there for?
We haven't. When Stephen Molina left us, literally the day that Steve's last day here, we had a gentleman from out in Stevens Circle that came in and just asked if we had any openings. And he dropped off an application, and we visited with him. He'd been out of work for about 4 months, has a family here in town, and felt like he was a good fit. We asked him if he'd be interested in the temporary full-time position that Molina had just left, and he said he would be very excited to take that. And then, so he's been with us for a little over a month now in that position, and is working out very well, has got a good work ethic, is fitting in well with our crew. So with Luke turning in his notice, we asked, and this gentleman's name is Shane as well. So we're going to be coming up with some nicknames for both of them to make sure we can keep them straight. He happens to hail from Iowa, so we've been calling him Hawkeye. But per the town code, you can, or the policy, we can take a temporary position and move that into a full-time position. So we asked him if he would be interested in taking the temporary off of the full-time position, and he said absolutely. So technically, we have already filled that, although we're still going to be short until Mr. Quintana returns. So, if there are any other questions on my report, I'd be happy to attempt to answer them. Other than that, I am...
Water usage.
Yes.
How are we looking? I see the numbers there, but I'm just kind of curious of what you guys have noticed as far as what usage is looking like going forward. We are awfully dry. I just didn't know if we were about normal for this time of year, or if you think we're probably creeping up on a lot of usage.
Oh, I think we'll see quite a bit more. Typically, July, August, and September are our largest usage months. And this is just through June that's shown. So I suspect that you'll see more. I want to say, I don't remember what our numbers were the end of October last year, Steve. I was thinking we were in the mid-60s percentile, maybe high 60s. I don't think we broke the 70% mark last year. So I think we're sitting in okay shape. I mean, we are watering Lincoln and Riverview both from the wells, so we're not using any potable water in those locations. So we're using some potable water at Rogers, we're using potable water at Coronado, and then we use potable water here at Town Hall. So,
does the library do outside watering?
No, that all falls on us as
That's
part of
all
Lincoln.
the town.
So that's all well watered.
Okay.
Their drip system and everything all runs off the well.
And we're a long ways from our quota limitations.
We've been doing fine on those.
Do you project that we'll probably be able to make it through the season?
I think so.
Wow, that's really great. Especially when you stop and think about 5, 6 years ago, we were so concerned about all that stuff. That's good, because we're using up, I don't know, how much water would we use up if we were all on potable like we used to be? We would probably be another, what, 15, 20% further on our usage than we are now?
I would guess it would be another 10 acre feet, so, you know, we'd be at 255 right now.
It's really terrific. It got nerve-wracking before. Now that we were allowed to use those wells, that's been terrific. Anybody else have anything for Mr. Brand? Thank you, David. Next, we have our attorney.
Hello. I don't have anything to add to my report, but I would be happy to answer any questions that you all might have.
The High Plains District, is that still problematic?
That was problematic. They were questioning how to balloon and the allocation
applications were based upon the IGA. Diane Norton brought to my attention, I asked him to get involved and look into it. We sent a letter to the High Plains District, received a response. I haven't really passed, I just forgot it before I left on vacation, then I came back this last week. Diane Norton came in and said, she just needs to think about it. I haven't read it all yet. It's a pretty lengthy response and almost sent it together. I forgot to, I apologize. But,
Yeah, I'll take a look at it and then, I can use my form of skills to figure out if it's correct.
this is summarized briefly, not to go into too much detail, but based upon the IGA with the plat, well, they get a certain breakdown percentage of the property tax annually. And based upon what the library board saw in the IGA, and the numbers being received, and they did a little bit of their own internal research based on Will County Assessor's Office, the numbers didn't look right. So we were looking at the numbers to make sure they were getting the proper allocation of funding each year. And I don't have a quick answer for you, but I'll bring that back to the board next month.
The only reason I picked that out is there's been so much controversy through the years, and even the Will County Commissioners even has some very strong words to say about them. So when you are bringing it up, it does get my attention.
From my understanding, there's pretty much a brand-new board for the High Plains Library District. Mr. Ken Costello, the current police chief in Fort Lupton, is the president for it.
Really?
Well, now, that says something too.
From my understanding, they're going through some changes and progressions, but I'm not involved in detail.
Right. That would be.
Sorry,
On the Noble property, I know it's for sale, do they have a buyer moving in there? Is that why there's a concern with the right of way, or they just?
They have someone interested. And I think the title work's getting done, they have an attorney involved, we're just trying to work out the right-of-way issue at this point. Maybe by some kind of a written agreement. They're trying to close, so they want to make sure this gets resolved.
Oh, nice. Good. We don't know what company it is yet or anything.
I don't.
I do.
Liberty to say.
I'll bring it back up in my report.
Okay. If nobody has anything further for our attorney, I will move on to our town manager, who is just dying to tell us about that.
I think it's called Advanced Oilfield Services, Category right across the town hall. It's been ringing gold Silcon utility property. Nice gentleman. His name's slipping my mind here, but he's been around Platte for many years, and we waited for 10 years. Came back, and I talked to him and his foreman today. They are looking at purchasing the double side. It's been vacant for a couple of years now. There's a right-of-way discrepancy, if you will. Believe it or not, Grand Avenue is a lengthy right-of-way, I think it's 80 foot. 100 foot. And Grand Avenue is built pretty much on the very furthest southern part of that right-of-way. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of right-of-way that goes up on the north side of Grand Avenue, which encompasses a large portion of their parking lot. So I don't want to get into a lot of detail because of this access agreement. When we get to that point, which I think we will, we'll come to the board. So I won't go into a lot of detail, but it's a local business. Here in a few minutes, I want to talk about Main Street businesses in general. I just want to give you a heads up where I want to be living in the future. So, but yeah, it's coming from our street.
Good.
If you look over there during the day, they're packed, and they want to double the size of the place.
Yeah, they've got no place to park and equipment.
60% of their vehicles, including all the semi-trucks, are parked on a parcel out south. I won't let them bring them in here. They were bringing semi-trucks, I said, no, can't bring semi-trucks. And they're very easy to work with. So great. In my report, I gave some updates on Red Memorial. The shed's being built, and then communicated with Mike Evans. They went up there and they did the inspection on the footers. Things are moving along. The big, the flat work probably by the end of next week. I think Jim Nelson said a lot of that flat work will probably be done. Says once the shed's built and they get that frame, he said they're gonna pour that pretty quick. And I believe Thursday this week, David, King Surveyor is gonna be on site. Jim Nelson said other than the flat work inside the actual memorial, they need to shoot the grade again for the curb and gutter, basically the sidewalk, for the parking lot. They want to make sure they get that right grade for the drainage. So King Surveyor is gonna restake that. Yesterday morning, Mike Evans called me, because over the weekend, we're gonna really give a lot of attaboys to a lot of people when this is done, I guarantee you, because people work on their own time, in the evenings, on the weekends, on Sunday afternoons. But that's gonna be a future story, but, I'm not really in charge for it, but. The inspections for the undergrounding were done by Safeville and the footers. The bricks going up, the concrete will be poured next. I've been staying in contact with Penny about this line sandstone keeps engraving. Luckily, it's been hot and dry, because that's what they need. Moisture throws them off the schedule. The shelter company, Fort Collins, it's been ordered. Engineering guys came in, sent the Barry, he okayed them. It's a matter of time of getting them back. I think if all goes well, the monument stones for the engraving and the shelter will come in next month. So we're trying to get the flat work done now, in the next couple weeks. So once the stones go in, and then Jim Nelson finishes the walls with the rest of the stone, and the shelter goes up, it's gonna be, well, pretty quick. It'll be done pretty quick. It'll go from see what you have now to, other than landscaping, which they're still doing fundraising, we still have some money set aside for landscaping and other wall stuff. So things will happen here pretty quick.
On a note, the Rotary Car Show was last Saturday.
Yes.
We filled up the whole park with cars. We advertised that the benefits were going to the Veterans Memorial Landscaping. And so I think we had a really good response. A lot of people were buying food and entering because they wanted to help with the Veterans Memorial. So I think that's going to be a real positive thing to help out there too. We've been wanting to do the landscaping when it was time, and so now we got one.
Quite possibly the salt still, you never know. Just a couple quick updates, look back counter improvements, Dave and I are working with that developer. Finance clerk for the position we advertised this week, due August 7th. Waiting on Brad Hagan to give me the draft of the raw water supply plan that's coming in for the next couple weeks probably. Did the free bid walkthrough today with David and Bob Fair with the senior at the community center with the four contractors sent it out to Roach back. So there's 3 contractors that are bidding. We had conversations with all 3 today. And the bids are due next Thursday at 2 p.m. So the project will be in front of the board on the August 1st meeting to approve a contractor. I notified DOLA. The DOLA grant's ready to go. Actually, I had to send my first status report with David Green because they had to do it monthly. All 3 contractors asked me, I'm going to bring this point up, asked me when they started, they got approved. I said, well, we have this thing called harvest days. And that's the 3rd week of August. We really don't want you to mobilize big trucks and graders and everything else in there when we're having harvest days. Next year, we'll deal with it, with how to do harvest days. Ironically, today, Don Rango called me up for a quick meeting, so I remember talking to him, and he was showing me the new baseball field and the softball field under construction. They hope to have it done by the end of August. And of course, the girls, the Lady Vikings, want to play at their home field, so he asked about our ball field where they've been playing. I said, ironically, we're about to bid out, or we're about to accept a bid for our new senior center, which would impact their playing field because of all the parking. So, long story short, he's going to tell his contractor to have it done by September 15th, in a 2-week window. So what I'm going to propose too, depending on how things go, we have a little bit of time, is to not have the contractor go in during that same time frame, the early part of September, so it coincides, so we don't conflict with Valley Softball. I mean, it's just, hosted them for several years, and I don't want to ruin the seniors who are seniors this year with dealing with issues down at the senior center, so. I mean, it's a small window, it's a couple weeks, it's not that big of a, but.
You don't think that would have an effect on the contractors having something to do while they're sitting around twiddling their thumbs waiting for us? I mean, would that have an effect?
They all seem fine with it. I explained the situation that, even before I talked to Don Rango, I explained to him that we do have Valley softball teams play down here. They understood that. I said maybe mid-September, before I talked to Don. And coincidentally, that's what we talked about.
Okay.
And their fields over there, it's like the field of dreams. If you ever walk, if you ever should go there and stop by, I mean, it's a $750,000 estimated project, and with in-kind, they got done for over $300,000.
Yeah, so we're talking about
It's a magnificent field. I've never seen a high school
lots of
field that nice.
volunteers.
I mean, it's really nice, so.
You build it, they will come.
What's that?
If you build it, they will come.
When we get the budget, we'll be talking about other stuff, so. Code enforcement, I got 3 more interviews tomorrow. Tree and I did 2 last week. I'll give you a date on August 1. Haven't heard back from Excel and Underground. I think he's done, but just talking with Excel, I know David told me today that Connie Woodard, our local representative from Excel, is retiring next month, I think. So that came up, that came up at the pre-bid meeting, because all 3 contractors want to know who our Excel contact is, because that 25 kW transformer needs to be relocated and more likely upgraded to a 50 or something to handle power, to juice up both sides.
It's going to use that much more power? It's going to use that much power? Is that for air conditioning or something?
Well, you've got new HVAC systems, and you have new appliances, and that 25K really, but that's a detailed
And that
conversation.
includes some upgrades in the existing electrical portions.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, we wouldn't upgrade the current, so we don't throw breakers when 3 crock pots are plugged in.
Before my senior team?
Yeah. And by the way, I did send you an email to take a look at September 30th on your senior team proposal. I expect the whole construction crew to be on site.
The seniors will love it. They'll go
So
outside.
you may love it, but you may talk to the old Ribbons and Rainbows as a possible backup venue, just an idea. Because they may need to take up the whole area. I just don't want conflict.
What, with noise?
Noise and hard hats and.
On Saturday
dirt.
morning?
Once they start, I need to talk to the seniors about modifying their meal schedule, or maybe finding it back, just an idea. I just want to throw that out there, because I can't guarantee how it's gonna be. So,
Okay, I'll keep up with it.
last thing, Harvest Day, the golf tournament is a week from Friday in Fort Levelton. Little update since my report, we now have 15 confirmed teams, with 2 still said they're gonna come in, so I might still reach my goal of 18. On our road report, we're at $4,400 now, there's over $7,000 in the golf fund. We have 10 hole sponsors, and I ordered trophies and just some, there's hole prizes for longest putt, closest pin, and longest drive, and there's 4-person teams for prizes for first, second, and third. I work with Jenny at K&K Laser up there in Evans, and she's doing a really nice job picking out some team prizes, individual prizes. My wife in the front office been working on getting some, what we call swag, from companies to hand down in their bag when they sign in. And I know Adrian helped me out with a whole bunch of bags and bottles, water bottles. My wife's gonna do inventory tomorrow before we leave. And,
You could set up one of the par 3s, hole in one, they could get an Explorer.
hey.
We wouldn't even have to have it insured to sell it.
And lastly, I did, talk about par 3 on number, if you ever go off to Cuddy Creek, number 13 on the back 9. There's a lady that, Tyler Tarpley, the manager of Cuddy Creek, referred to me. I talked to her, her name's Raina. She's part of Golf Hill. It's called Golf TLC, I believe. They primarily do fundraising for Troops for America, for the military. But they also do a lot of other fundraising opportunities. And they must, and she said they have a tremendous amount of support sponsors. So what happens on a hole for 13 for $20, if you hit the green, no, that's the contingent part, you gotta hit the green. You get 2 free golf clubs, you get $25 in wine discount at the local winery, you get $20 or $15 with the Uber. If you hit within a circle that she draws, like a 10-foot radius circle of the green, you get automatically $200 gift card. And then a hole-in-one, you get a 5 or 7 day round trip to Mexico, trip, some resort, whatever, so. And I said, how can you do it for $20? If you hit the green, you're giving away at least $200 worth of golf clubs, and they're not. And she says, we have some very deep pocket supporters because our primary function is to support the military. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad to have her part of the tournament. So that would probably beat our hole-in-one for the board, probably.
Mexico or the Explorer?
Yeah.
That's what I picked.
But, yeah, Harvest Day tournament's going well next year, but I mean, having a full year to prepare, I think it'll be even better, but, a lot of good comments, the front office is working good. David did getting a lot of teams to all the contractors, sent those out, with Devin, and I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be a good time.
I wish I couldn't be in town, I'd go and play.
Sitting here.
Yeah.
Who's there, you and Mickey Mouse?
Next year, we're looking at making it a little bit closer to Harvest Days, about part of it, somehow, way, shape, or form. We'll see.
I think that's probably a really good idea.
Some people suggest maybe a Monday, or maybe the Thursday, or maybe the Friday morning, just this week. I haven't thought about it yet. So, we'll see.
Have it before rather than after.
Come Sunday, everybody wants to just be done with Harvest Days, so I don't know about having it afterwards, so. But that's all I have, any questions you may have. Quick note, Thursday and Friday, I'll take a little retreat. My wife and I are taking our 21-year-olds to Vegas for their birthdays. I'll be back on Sunday. So I'll be out of town. If anything emergency, call the mayor, call David, or call Mary, or Carl.
We can call anybody.
I call it the adult babysitting trip. I am not
Your cell phone number, we can call you.
You can try.
It doesn't work in Vegas for some reason.
We promised some years ago, and then earlier this year, my wife reminded me, we would split some money back a little bit at a time, and Vegas is cheap. I mean, it's just super cheap.
Cheap. Where did you say Vegas?
You can get there.
You can get there, but not to stay there
Yeah.
anymore. God, the food is, I mean, how long have you been in Las Vegas?
January, I took my wife.
Why do you
My whole family. They asked me where I want to go, and I haven't decided yet. I might want to Vegas again.
They don't have those $1.99 breakfasts anymore.
No.
$5.99 dinners.
No, that's exactly true. They sure do.
Anything else, Mayor?
Does anybody have any new business or any comments they would like to bring before the board? We stand in adjournment.
Thank you all.
Go get some sleep, Mike. This lady has beautiful pens.
Yes, she is.
I don't know if I'm looking at that too.
See you later, Adrian.
Have a good one, Mike.
David Lamb says hi.
Tell her hi back.
All right.
I'm not sure how I got on her favorite. Well, thank you. I'm off the hook. See, you get the prize.
Don't you have anything?
I don't think Mark Carter can find it for you.
Mary, you want?
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
feel,
Oh, you're not.
let me
I gotta take my water.
get some, yeah, so I know who to pick.
Let's still talk.
Are you?
On your
So low, I was gonna be like this,
I would.
people.
These figures since before me, so they're not new, by any means.
Well,
You guys
Just
can't
bring it
send
in.
in receipts?
no, it's asking for some password, it's not connected.